Hi, welcome back to Roadmap, the Autotrader UK podcast for all things product and tech. So we promised season 2 would be a banger with some awesome guests, and today we're getting off to a flyer as I'm joined by our COO, Catherine. And today's podcast is all about Autotrader, the FTSE 100 listed tech company. So hey Catherine.
Hi, thanks for having me.
No, thanks for coming. We're all pretty excited. We managed to secure your time on the sofa and getting inside your head as the COO because it's a different view of the world. So I was thinking before we really get into the detail of AT as a tech company, I think it'd be really good for the listeners because not everyone understands our history and heritage, and that we've been around since 1977. Which is only a year younger than me, and I feel pretty old. So, do you want to just take us through some of the big historic things along the way of our journey?
Sure, sounds good. And I can't believe that we're 1 year older than you. That's a shock. So, depending on what data you buy into, somewhere between about 30 and 40% of all businesses will die in the next 10 years.
Wow!
If they don't work out how to change their entire company to embrace new technologies. And I think that percentage stayed roughly the same over the last few decades. So when I think about that history and the fact that we're 40 years old, that has to be one of the biggest things that makes us different. Yeah. We just keep reinventing ourselves through technology.
I didn't know about that start of the 10 years. That is interesting. So we've basically lived 4 lives so far. We're like a cat. Yeah.
Yeah, someone should convert it to cat years, shouldn't they? So that journey we've been on, moving from a print magazine back in the early days through to a technology platform and ultimately a FTSE 100 listed business, that journey of going from print all the way through to now a platform, I think is just a huge part of who we are today. And that we've got that incredibly rich history that many other technology businesses don't have. And I think we do a pretty good job of celebrating that and reflecting back on that. As a regional print magazine, we had one of the biggest weekly circulations of any print title in the UK. And that digital transformation that we embarked on, I think what really stood us out is how the business did it. Clearly, I wasn't here then. You were probably at school.
I joined just as we were ending the print to digital transformation. Right. So we still had magazines, we still had some of the printing business, but it was right at the end of the era.
The era.
Yeah.
So it was back in 1996 we took the first step online by launching Autotrader.co.uk. Quickly became one of the UK's most popular websites. Then in those days we were getting about 10 million visitors each month. So good scale, even from the early days. We launched our first mobile website in 2002, and then the apps came soon afterwards. What was different was that we deliberately set up that digital business as a separate business unit with reporting line directly into the CEO, and we gave that digital business lots of unfair advantages. We gave it the brand, we gave it a different commercial model, and we were comfortable, and the team were comfortable then, that digital business would cannibalise the core print business over time. So the business went on a journey to wind up the print operations, use the cash flow to invest in technology, consolidating into our now 2 regional hubs, Manchester obviously being the head office where all of our product and tech teams are based. And we're now regularly cited, or that journey is regularly cited in business schools, in the press, as being one of the best examples of a print to digital transformation that's been delivered by any business. So just 10 years later, after that last magazine was then published, we're now today the biggest automotive marketplace in the UK, bringing together all these buyers and sellers of vehicles, and we are where the UK find their next car. Those last 10 years though, I think have been shaped by another big transformation, that journey from being a digital business to being a technology platform. That print to digital transformation was about migrating the magazine onto a front-end website, whereas the digital to platform transformation is all about putting technology and data at the centre of our business. All of the products that we build, all of our consumer experiences are now powered by that core platform.
Yeah, because it does feel, I mean, like, you joined in 2017, I was joined in 2012. It does feel like a different company. It feels like 2 or 3 different companies since I joined, and even that the transformation or the consolidation of the offices and that reinvestment is, when I look around, like we sat in the pop-up studio today, it just feels like I was based in a place in Warrington called Catherine Street, which was an old print office. The difference is unreal. And when I talk to my mates who plumbers, builders, etc., they all know I work for Autotrader, but when I say like we're on the FTSE 100, we're worth like 5.8 billion or 6 billion, whatever it is on that particular day, it is mind-blowing. And it's even mind-blowing from when I joined, and like, you know, Apex with the investor that we bought off the Guardian Media Group. It just feels like you say, that last 10 years the acceleration has been ridiculous. Like we got foot straight down to the pedal all the time.
No, absolutely. And I think we've delivered those 2 big transformations in the last 25 years. Back to that, you've got to reinvent yourself at least every 10 years or so, it turns out. And I love that analogy that when a transformation is done right, it's like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. But when you do it wrong, you end up with just a slightly faster caterpillar. And I think genuinely, Autotrader's emerged twice in the last 25 years as a beautiful butterfly, with different capabilities, with different strengths that were fundamentally different to what existed beforehand. And I think now, to all of us, it does feel, and for people that don't know the business, don't know the history, you walk in and you feel like you're at the centre of a really exciting, really innovative technology company.
Yeah, I mean, I'll sit up on there. We've got like the 6th floor, which is the office refurb for people that, again, aren't part of the organisation, and just sat on the 6th floor looking out onto it's like Manchester itself. It's reinvented itself yet again, and we're looking out across the skyline. You feel like you're in some sort of like Uber hub in California at times. It is unreal. But one of the things that were interesting when we were chatting offline is like our whole purpose, and the purpose to drive change together responsibly, and that is like something that has emerged over the last few years. But how would you, if you were going to paraphrase or describe further what we mean by that, how would you, to someone that doesn't know Autotrader, how would you describe what our purpose means?
That's a big question.
Sorry.
Why do we exist as Autotrader? Well, I think certainly compared to other businesses I've worked in, our purpose really does define why we exist and what we think we're here to do. For me, our purpose talks to 3 big things. And firstly, it talks to change, that first theme that we've been talking about. As a business, there is no other way than to continually reinvent yourself. I think I certainly believe, and I think we all believe at Autotrader, that the only sustainable advantage you have over every other business is your ability to change. Nothing else is sustainable over the very long term. Everything else you create, you build, you design, someone else will copy. Maybe they won't copy it right away or replicate it right away, but in time they will. So we're committed to change. We make hard decisions, we make big things happen, and that's who we are, and that's what we do. And so having change right at the centre of our purpose feels absolutely right to me. Secondly, I think our purpose talks to thinking to the very, very long term, back to that 40 plus year history. Because we've been around for over 40 years, we absolutely want to be around for another 40 years. And I think all of us at the moment are guardians of the living, breathing thing that is Autotrader, that hopefully will be here in another 40 years. So when we talk to acting responsibly, doing the right thing for consumers, working with our partners, doing the right thing for our people, for communities, all of that for me is all about thinking about the very long term and what's right for the very long term. We don't solve for quick wins. We do things right, and we do them right by design, by taking that very long term view. And then the final thing that our purpose talks to, I think, is that concept of working together, working with each other, again, working with our customers, working with partners, talks to the power of people and the importance of them, because ultimately people are at the centre of our business. It's people that build, design, create technology ultimately, and people ask the right questions. Technology gives you the answers to questions, but it can't ask the right questions to know what to build or design in the first place. So that together theme for me is all about people and how we work together.
I mean, people, it is the one thing that, it's the thing that gets me out of bed every day. Like, my role is more about people in the product and tech space and less about the actual technology. That's something that unfortunately I wasn't that great at, which Chris Kelly, our CTO, will vouch for many times. But it feels like people have been fundamental to success, and we've got many employees. Like, I'm one with 12 years, but I feel like a relative junior in terms of my Autotrader career when you look at sort of the longevity of others. But in terms of, like, again, from a CEO perspective, what's your view on where the AT people play in the overall organisational strategy driving things forward, and probably especially from the product and tech angle, but obviously not ignoring the fact that we've got 1,200 employees of very various disciplines?
So as a technology company, the most important thing is clearly having great leaders across technology, product, design, delivery, all of the crafts that make technology. And these people are running huge parts of our business, ultimately running our business. When I talk about technology or think about technology at Autotrader, it is in that broadest sense. And I think that's one of the things we do really well. Those different crafts or disciplines that sit within product and technology are really broad. Like, you were talking about the fact that you don't see yourself as a technologist, yet you're a big leader in our product and tech organisation in Autotrader. And when I think about the role that our tech leads play, many of them are absolutely influencing, driving and shaping our product thinking. Many of our product people and product leads are influencing and shaping design. And I think it is really about great technologists in that broadest sense working together to make great things happen. We don't have really narrow role descriptions, job descriptions, functional specs. Like, it is about getting a great group of people together in a room, thinking broadly, asking the right questions and making big things happen. Yeah,
it's interesting when you talk about that breadth of the technologist isn't just the engineer, it is across the whole spectrum, because that's where I find my job family is definitely product and tech. But again, going back to that general and breadth, it is hard to, I wouldn't say I sit in any particular family because I'll move around, but thinking beyond people, because I mean people are absolutely central to everything we do, but just thinking around, like, from a top level lens, looking from external into the product and tech industry, what do you think makes a great technology company?
Blimey.
Apart from really good food and nice offices.
Hopefully we've got all of those things. No, we definitely have. Has to be having great technologists running the business, and then great tech. I think if you don't have excellent technology talent at the very top of your organisation, I think it's probably really hard, probably impossible to be a great technology company. I mean, I'm very conscious that I've been working in technology businesses for 20 years, but like you, I'm not a technologist by background or by training. I think we've done a really good job of getting excellent talent right at the top of our organisation, people that are technologists making great decisions. We could always do more. I think our board is pretty good and representative in that perspective, but could we always have more senior tech talent having a bigger impact in shaping our organisation? Absolutely. I mean, when you think about both of those big transformations, they have been driven and shaped by technology, and the only way we stay at the forefront of where the industry is evolving and where we need to be going next is by having the best technology talent at the very top.
And when you think then, sorry, I'm going to ask another hard question here, because I'm interested in your view, is obviously you see shiny new startups with loads of investment behind them. They might be 2-3 years maybe into their sort of longevity. How do you think then, again, if you're looking externally and comparing Autotrader to one of those startups and thinking about where, how do we stack up in terms of like our technological capability, etc. Like, what kind of things jump out if you were challenged by, you were on a panel somewhere and someone said, well, compare yourself to X or Y?
So as a non-technologist, when I think about the things that I want to be able to talk to and the things that I want to be able to say to demonstrate that we are a great technology company, it's having a cloud-based infrastructure. It's having a whole series of microservices that all of our tech is built on and from, that can be consumed by lots of different internal services and platforms, but also externally. It is about having those APIs that mean we can play a much bigger and broader role in the industry. And it is about having, you know, the latest and best data capability. And when I think about how our capability benchmarks across all of those areas, I feel really proud, actually. I think we benchmark incredibly well, and that reflects years and years of investment by our team in our capability in all of those areas. We didn't wake up in December whenever ChatGPT launched and decided that we needed data science capability. We've been on that journey for more than 10 years, building, creating a team, giving them the data platform, the tools they need to be successful. So back to that long-term thinking, long-term commitment to success, it is about seeing those trends, seeing that technology emerging early, and building the right capability in a sustainable, in a progressive way over time, so that when these things do really then explode and become mainstream, we're absolutely ready. We have the capability, we have the technology, we have the people to apply them, whether it's in consumer products, in retailer products, in whichever channels and platforms feel right. We can expose them, we can make them available, and make and benefit from the power of that platform.
I mean, that was one that we're gonna, hopefully in season 2, further episode, we're gonna have one around data science. We covered something in season 1 around data, a bit of an intro, but getting down into more on the AI and machine learning. But that was something that when you mentioned then, because I wasn't aware of that, because, you know, where you're working is that conscious decision we made 10 years ago, because I was probably working like on the selling platform, is of investing in data science. And all of a sudden I remember data science and data scientists turning up, didn't know who they were, but now you look at the capability and what we're doing, it's like, you're right, that wasn't overnight. That has been 10 years, 12 years of investment, growth, getting the right people in and getting them sort of building out the whole AT model. To scale, again, one of the things that I don't often talk about work with friends, but when we do get onto the topic of not talking about mountain bikes, we get into like work things. And one of the things that, again, the scale of Autotrader, when I explain some of the stuff, is there, like, it's a bit mind-blowing. Like the fact that we've got 1,200 employees, it's like, how many? So just thinking again, like those super cool stats that maybe when you're at a C-level function and people are asking about Autotrader. I don't know if these C-level functions exist, by the way. I've just got this like,
if they
this
do,
thing in
I
my
don't
head.
go to them.
Okay. So you're on again, I know you do some panel stuff, and I've heard you on BBC Radio, and I'm like, my God, that's Catherine from work. Are there particular sort of stats that jump out when you go, blooming heck, the scale is ridiculous?
Yeah, I think one of the things that we do that feels very unique to me, or certainly haven't experienced before, is having the best, latest technology and investing in that capability, but then deploying that at scale, which most startups don't do, actually. And it is the scale in those metrics, particularly when it comes to technology, are just hugely impressive, whether it's the 80 odd million or so visits we get each month, 15, and probably at 16 million now app downloads, which is a huge proportion of the UK driving population. The fact that we do 1,500 odd technology releases every week. We've got over 100 third-party integrations through our APIs. We're powering 8,000 retailer systems and platforms. And then our APIs are now called, I think the latest stat is about 8 million times a day.
That's the one that blows my mind. Because I work in the platform space, it's like, you know, obviously 8 million times, like stability, and speed and performance are so absolutely central to that.
And interestingly, as a technology company, at a senior level, we never really spend time talking about our performance or capability of our platform, because this is absolutely taken as a given. That of course it's highly performant, of course it's highly scalable. Like, it's not on our big strategic conversations, it's taken as a given because of that investment, because of that technology capability that we have, and that feels like a hugely powerful place to be, and huge credit to everyone working in technology across Autotrader to have got us there.
Because I can remember, again, it's like I can remember us having the 2 data centers and now everything in the cloud. It just feels like, again, it feels like that's the last 5 years. It is a different world, but it feels like, again, as an employee and just talking around 2023, I mean, we've had lots of conferences where I think one of our previous, Sean, our previous CFO, was talking like vintage years and other years, but it just feels like 2023 is yet again another cracking year, but it feels a little bit different this time. I'm not sure what actually to put my finger on. These are the things that make it different, because we're doing so much. But is there any things, again, for you, I'm not going to do the C-level, but like from you and the board and our like OLT, our leadership team, what are the things that stand out to you of 2023? Is there any particular ones that you go, actually that's a big one, or is there many?
So the standout things for me, I think the big journey that we've been on, that last digital to platform transformation, our latest butterfly emerging. I feel like 2023 is the year where lots of the things that we've been talking about for a long time around that platform capability, whether it is actually machine learning and how and where we're deploying that in lots of our products, whether it is genuinely our data and our technology powering bigger and more important parts of the automotive industry. Lots of those things we've been talking about being a technology platform, lots of them are really coming to the fore and feel like we're over that tipping point. There's now multiple parties, partners using either our data or our technology at scale, where we can sit there and confidently talk about being a platform powering the UK automotive ecosystem. So that for me this year so far has felt like lots of the big things we've been talking about has been a real validation of lots of things we've been working on actually for a very long time. I think the other big industry change this year has to be around electric vehicles. Rightly or wrongly, the press, the news is being dominated at the moment by electric vehicle manufacturer, by low emission zones, by this wave of change that we're seeing. In 2023 for me feels like the year when the electric vehicle conversation moves from being like a small, slightly sideshow as part of the industry to actually feeling inevitable, like we are on this journey towards an electric car park in the UK. And we've been playing a very important role in that journey for many years now through our consumer experience, through surfacing the data and insight that we have by working with manufacturers, increasingly working with the government and the industry to make sure that the industry is ready for that change. And again, lots of that work and the role we're playing in that change really feels like it's coming to fruition and to the fore this year. And then finally, just reflecting back to that, to people and people being rightly and obviously at the centre of everything we do. We have been on a journey for a number of years, again, trying to really promote, drive Autotrader as an environment where anyone can be successful and where anyone can be themselves. And we've got some great examples of people that have been here, not for all of that 40 plus year history, but we've got a lot of people that have been here for more than 20 years that have reinvented themselves lots of times in lots and lots of different roles, in a similar way that the business has been on this incredible journey. People at Autotrader have been on incredible journeys and have built multi-dimensional, multidisciplinary careers, and we want that opportunity to build that kind of career in technology to be available to anyone. And we've done lots of work, again, lots of people over many years to build everything from recruitment to people, policies, processes, practices, to create environment, spaces, teams, culture, an environment where people can shape those kind of careers and can be themselves and can be successful. And I feel like we've still got loads to do, clearly, but we're just in a really good place. It feels like just part of something that we do and we're absolutely committed to doing. So those would be my 3 call outs for 2023 so far.
I mean, it's tease up. We've got some future episodes. So it's like around our diverse talent accelerate program. We're also talking about the fact is like this, we don't just work with, like, our ecosystem is beyond the retailers, and we're working with the likes of Bank of England or Office of National Statistics, whoever it might be. But the one, like you're talking about, that sort of jumps out to me is definitely that people can be themselves at 80. And I probably have benefited from the fact that my previous organisation definitely felt like I couldn't be me. And you can build it out, but also with our whole like social mobility network and how doubling down on apprenticeships and other routes into technology and trying to really drive that forward, it does feel like, again, when you look back 10 years, it feels like, again, we're a different company. So that was super interesting. Now, I know your time is precious, so unfortunately, we're gonna have to let you go for your next appointment, but thanks for the whistle-stop tour of all things Autotrader. For listeners, just a reminder, Catherine is our COO, so it is big time getting you on the couch. So huge thanks to you for taking time out, and thanks again to all the listeners for tuning in. So hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode. So if you have, please remember to like and subscribe on YouTube, hit the notification button so you never miss an episode, and follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, because this is season 2 launch and we've got many episodes to come. Again, hope you enjoyed it, and no doubt catch you soon for another episode of Roadmap. Laters.